We are in fucking Hollywood, man!
Hello, welcome to the 404 Films podcast. I'm Carl.
And I'm Sive.
That was said in my best American radio DJ. I felt like Robin Williams, you know? The Good Morning Vietnam thing.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing today?
We're going to be talking about the Bravo's 100 Greatest Scariest Movie... 100
Yeah.
Greatest...
100
Movie-
100 greatest scary movie moments.
The 100 Scariest Movie Moments, a countdown of the greatest moments of cinema shot.
Compared to Channel 4's 100 greatest scary moments, because they did everything, like TV ads.
Yeah, they added advertisements and stuff, but with
Yeah.
just with the Bravos list, it's
just films.
just films. Yeah.
Yeah, not even TV shows, was like, because Channel 4 got weird with it and had ads for like the AIDS pandemic and music videos and everything, and obviously soap operas, but we've sold out really, really quickly. We're going by our most popular video, immediately kind of just try to emulate that again and get more of that success.
Well, also, I kind of wanted to watch Bravo's 100 Greatest Scary Moments because I hadn't watched it in a good couple of years. So when I was watching it, I haven't seen a lot of the films.
It is a good like movie recommendation list, I guess, in a way. Like, but oh God, I did not like it watching it another time. It fucking sucks.
Do you not
It's
like
shit.
it?
I did not. It's like I really dreaded watching it
No way.
again, and I've watched it and I kind of had to go, well, actually, no, it's fine, but like it's one of those things that I would throw on in the background, like when I'm doing work or like exercise.
Really?
It's not like it can't keep my full attention. It's just so fucking boring. Like, jeez, it's boring.
Really, I actually quite enjoyed it, especially when they show like the short movie clips because they're showing the best parts of the movies.
I thought they were quite, well, I'll like throughout this episode, I'm going to compare it to we're both going to compare it to the Channel 4 one. And I obviously have nostalgia for the Channel 4 one, but this one I used to like a lot, and it is really cool to watch it around Halloween when you're looking for stuff, and it's up on YouTube, so if anyone wants to go watch it, immediately go listen to it or go watch it now. But God, it's just not as well made as the Channel 4 one.
No.
It's just a lot of like just images like floating across the screen, and now that like everyone makes video essays on YouTube, it looks real cheap.
It
looks
does,
like,
isn't it? Yeah, it's very cheaply made. They've no host compared to Channel 4. They had Alan Carr as the host, which is deadly.
Jimmy Carr.
Sorry,
no?
Jimmy Carr. Yeah, why do I call it
Jimmy
Alan Carr? Yeah.
Jimmy Carter. No, but I would take Jimmy Carr over they have this little girl doing trying to do a creepy voice for the wraparound for the Bravo one, and I just think it's fucking shite.
Oh, yeah.
There are moments created by master filmmakers which unleash our childhood fears.
Very goofball. But then again, Jimmy Carr is really cringy, but like
In a good way.
I would take that. Yeah, I would take that over the little girl voice,
Yeah. That's very fair.
So like comparing it to the Channel 4 one, just straight away, the problem I found with it is, okay, it came after the Channel 4 one. So I did a little bit of research on this episode, not a lot, just a little bit. And it's Bravo's 100, and Bravo to me as well. Do you remember the Bravo channel? Like,
See,
did you ever have like
no,
on
I
the,
didn't.
on
I
the
was
Sky
too poor
channels
for
and stuff?
Sky.
That makes me feel bad.
I only had cable.
It's like the English syndication of Bravo, the Bravo channel. It was on years ago. It's since gone. Was the weirdest fucking channel ever. It would show stuff like that, but it would also like the list. But it would also show TNA wrestling.
Yeah. Big Brother.
Weird,
Was
like
it?
I don't know. That was E4.
Oh,
So like
right.
Bravo would be like, it would show like weird extreme sports, borderline pornography, and then like stuff like Danny Dyer's Deadliest Men. So it was a very odd channel. So Bravo and me already have a very weird relationship going on. But I just like Channel 4, I reckon, had a bigger budget, and I think it had better interviews as well. When you look at the Channel 4 one.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, obviously it's America and England. It's America versus versus England. The humor that I might gravitate towards would be the English humor.
Yeah, same here.
Because a lot of the American comedians are a bit much to me. It's not that I don't like American comedy, and I don't mean to offend any Americans, but it's just, God, there's like, it's so
some
like,
can be a bit cringe and a bit over the top.
face.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There was like probably like 3 or 4 comedians that were interviewed on the Bravo's 100 Great Scary Moments, and
they were usually in groups as well.
Yeah, not one of them did I find interesting, especially Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Oh.
I could have done without him.
Yeah, but I mean, he only comes up about like 3 times or something. But his voice, like, just because I watched that, I was probably like 14 or 15 or something like that when I first saw it. Every time that guy comes up, I just fucking cringe so much.
Oh my God! It's like a huge dog is running across.
Yeah, no, like he's playing his character, like he's doing his kind of. I don't think that's his regular voice, but I think it goes to like, I'll watch him in Aladdin, and I think that's about it.
Is he?
He plays the parrot in Aladdin. Yeah, he plays the parrot in Aladdin, and that's all I'll watch. And
I've never seen him before myself.
I'm kind of done with Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, no.
Me on the other hand, I actually enjoyed watching it because it's nostalgic in a sense. Like, I'm really weird like that. Like, you know, like the 100 Great Scary Moments, I love things that are like things like with Halloween, like say take Halloween the film for example, I want more films that are like that. Like they could be like complete replicas and newly made, and I would still like die to see it. So with the Bravo's 100 Great Scary Moments, I was like, yes, like this is another show to fill that like want to see all this scary stuff, because that's how I felt like about the 100 Great Scary Moments for the Channel 4. When that was over, I was like kind of sad. I was like, oh, they don't have any more like countdowns. And then when I discovered the Bravo,
well, they don't do them like often, and it's nice to see. I like horror lists, you know what I mean, because it's just ways to find new movies. You know what I mean.
I think we should do our own 100 greatest scary movies, because I think it's something that we both really love. And all these movies that because we've seen a lot of these movies that are on like the list, and then we've seen loads of like newer movies, and I'd love to like put them together. Yeah. And do our own list.
It's like one of those things where it'd be cool to actually make. You see all these kind of documentaries being made of In Search of Darkness and all these like guide to 80s horror and stuff, when it's like, I'd kind of like to see a new kind of countdown made of films that have come out since the 2000s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been 20 years now, but it's like, you know, if no one's going to do it, you know, I'd happily do it. But like, it's a shame, like with the Bravo one and everything, obviously they're made within a year of each other, the Channel 4 one and the Bravo one. So a lot of it is repetition.
It is, yeah.
And I've watched the other one recently enough, so it's kind of boring. You know, that's why I find it kind of boring when, and it's not a list voted by the public as well.
This
is definitely, it's a list made by a bunch of filmmakers, because at points it gets really kind of, not pretentious, that's not
niche.
the right word. Yeah, it gets niche, which I do like though, because they're talking about stuff that, you know.
Yeah, because it made me watch different movies when I was younger when I seen it. So that's what I liked about it,
For sure, that did happen with me as well. It did, like, so like
it broadened my
horizons.
horizons.
Gave me a good few recommendations of stuff that just seeing clips or imagery did make me want to go out and see it. But like when they're saying like Blood Simple by the Coen Brothers is scarier than like The Evil Dead, I'm a bit like, okay, who voted for this? Like, you know what I mean? I like Blood Simple, but Evil Dead is a scarier movie. And then like Frankenstein is like number, I don't know, 20 or something on the list, and he's beaten a bunch of other people or something like that. It's just like, just because it's a classic, like old Hollywood classic, you're putting it there out of respect. You're not putting it there because it's actually the scariest film. You know what I mean?
That's so true. That's how I felt about Alfred Hitchcock's ones coming up. I don't know how you feel about like Psycho and stuff, but I don't find that scary, to be fair.
I could see Psycho being like high on the list, because the people who made the list are quite, like, obviously they're older people and they probably saw it when they were younger. But to have it that kind of high that it beat out, did it beat out Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or did it come?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was number 5,
and Psycho was number which?
4.
Then that's bullshit. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I never understand how that's not number 1 on a lot of the lists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Halloween is 14. So I think that's really weird. Like, Halloween would be my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, they're very, like, on one hand, you know, they want to kind of pay respect to all the classics and everything. I think so. But then they also kind of jumble up the order of them, you know what I mean, in a way. But then they're also very kind of, like, respectful to a lot of movies in general. They're putting stuff on the list that I never would have thought would show up.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
appreciate that. You know,
Same, yeah. For example, Audition, because I would have obviously seen the Channel 4's 100 Great Scary Moments first, and then when I saw the Bravo one later on into my kind of young teenage years, that's where I would have seen like Audition and stuff, and I liked that they added those kind of movies in because
it was
Japanese
like a
horror.
different because Audition was like, I can't think of many other Japanese horror movies that were on the Channel 4 one bar The Ring. So yeah, it was nice to see another one.
Did they use the Japanese ring or did they use the American ring in Channel 4? I think it was the Japanese one.
Yeah, they used the Japanese one actually in Channel 4, and then in Bravo's list they used the American
one, yeah.
which probably only came out the year 2003, so the year the Channel 4 one was out, and then this one came out in 2004, I think. So it's probably fresh in everyone's mind. And sure, look, if there's an American version, obviously the Americans are going to vote on that.
Take it over, of
then,
course.
Then again, though, they have The Vanishing. And I was really expecting it to be the American version of The Vanishing, but it wasn't, which was really cool to see that. Because I have never seen The Vanishing and I would like to see it.
What is The Vanishing one again?
It's the one where the guy's buried alive.
Oh, yeah. The Vanishing is in 100 Great Scary Moments of Channel 4 as well.
Yeah. And it's Kiefer Sutherland in the American one, and I was really surprised not to see him in the scene where he's buried alive, because I was kind of half paying attention to it when I was watching it. And I was like, oh good, they've gone for the original one. They haven't picked like solely American remakes of a lot of, you know, foreign horror properties.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, because when I saw the Channel 4's list, The Vanishing didn't seem that appealing to me. But then in the Bravo's one, they kind of extend it more. They don't just have him buried alive.
Just have a clip. That's actually, that's a good point. They do talk about, to give it credit, they talk about every movie on the list. They never show a clip. And sometimes for Channel 4, they'd just show a clip. They'd just show a clip, you know. But then sometimes the clip alone would be enough. Like the bit in Misery where she breaks his ankles.
The ultimate moment for her to make sure that he wouldn't run away.
I think you only get to see a clip of that in Channel 4, but that's enough to make me want to watch the movie or know why it's there, you know?
Yeah. Have you seen Misery, actually?
Yeah. Great
it's
movie.
Been a long time. I saw it when it was like on RTE or something before. My mom was watching it and she was like, oh no, I can't watch this. But I was like, this is great.
No, it's a great film. Really great. Yeah,
but when I was watching the scene in the Bravo one of when she knocks his legs between the wooden plank, they said that they had filled like fake legs with jelly, and that's how they got that effect. But it's so realistic. Like every time I watch that scene, I'm like, you feel it in your legs, don't you?
Yeah, you become jelly.
Trust me.
God's sake.
It's for the best.
Hey, please.
There you go. It's good how they just cut away as well. You don't see it too much. It's that one glimpse, so you're looking at it and you're not like, oh, it's a fake prosthetic foot. You know what I mean? It's just so quick. It was cool to see the director of that movie, Rob Reiner, talk about films, because he's not in the Channel 4 one, but I really like seeing him in this one because he does acting as well. Rob Reiner made Spinal Tap and The Princess Bride and Misery, but he's from The Wolf of Wall Street. I would always know him as his dad in The Wolf of Wall Street. He plays Mad Max. Just the bit when he goes fucking mad trying to answer the phone in that movie. So like, I had fun watching him talk in this. You know,
what is it? The thing is on
the fucking Equalizer.
Yeah, there's a lot of films that come up on the Bravo list that were on the 100 Great Scary Moments. So I understand on the Channel 4 list. So I understand why it's boring if you are mad about the Channel 4's list, but there are actually, to me, every time something new came up, it actually was quite exciting for me. And especially they have a lot of different commentators, but they do have like extra people like Toby Hooper talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of the same critics though, film critics like Mark Kermode, Kim Newman.
And Kim Newman, that was really cool to see them come back because, it's an American thing. So to see them come back and talk about it was quite nice, you know? It
was, wasn't it? Yeah, I liked that for sure because it's kind of like a homage then to... kind of links them in a nice way.
That well, we got them for the other one, and then Alan Jones as well talks on it. There's a good few British kind of horror critics that are floating around in it, which is nice to see them, you know. But you've got the usual people as well. But what was cool about the Channel 4 one is they'll be interviewing some English TV presenter, and then it will cut to John Carpenter. You know what I mean? Well, this one, it's all very much, industry people, except
yeah.
the odd, stupid choice, like the fucking Coors Light twins, who, why the fuck were they there? Why were they there? It was the most annoying, oh my God. Fucking couldn't stand
But
them.
they actually knew a lot. They had seen a lot of the films, in fairness. They came up an awful lot during it.
I feel like they came up a lot for the wrong reasons, though. It's quickly come
fair
up
enough.
and say a joke, come up and say something, fucking saucy
they're very
or whatever the fuck they
charismatic.
want to say.
Yeah.
Their names alone, the Coors Light twins. I don't know what they are. I'm too young to know what that they are. I didn't grow up in America as well. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
I had
don't
no
know
idea.
it's obviously some American ad or campaign. But,
that they were probably very featured in a lot of them. I mean, they would be appealing for a lot of people to watch, so that's fair enough that they use them. But I know what you
I
mean.
also feel like it's look, identical twins, The Shining, and they do use it. They literally got them there for that bit when they talk about The
they
Shining.
did,
Come play with us. Come play with us.
The other interesting thing was Courtney Cox was with David Arquette when they're obviously married then.
Yeah.
And she talks a good bit in the whole show.
He doesn't say a word.
He doesn't say words, so they kind of have him cropped out.
Yeah.
So it just looks like it's her there, but you know that he's there beside her because he comes in for one tiny second to say something, and that's the only time he talks within the whole show, which is so fucking funny because I'm like, that's really awkward.
I love that because I had it on and I think my brother was passing through when he saw it and he was like, oh look, David Arquette and Courtney Cox, that's awkward. And then it didn't occur to me that I was like, oh yeah, I don't think he was interviewed once. It was just he looks kind of sad when they do the interview. He's just kind of looking down. It's hard because it's a podcast, people can't see it, but God, it's a very funny little clip. It
is, yeah. So what was your overall thoughts about the list?
Look, I'm too critical of it. I obviously prefer the Channel 4 one, but I think it's genuinely better. But I also am extremely biased because I have nostalgia for the old one, for the Channel 4 one. But what I will say is this one isn't as eerie as the Channel 4 one. So it doesn't matter how many times I can go back and watch the Channel 4 one, there'll still be something in it that either now, in fairness, will trigger a nostalgia kind of built-in kind of fear of seeing it as a kid. But I always do find it because they have such random stuff, there's always something in it that's off-putting to me, So seeing them talking about the alien autopsy video triggers something in me that's kind of ooh, that's creepy, you know what I mean? Or seeing an old ad or seeing an old British sitcom or a soap opera.
Soap opera, yeah.
Yeah, where they did something weird, you know what I mean? That it's a bit ooh, that is a bit unpleasant, you know what I mean? That's still a bit freaky, Well, this is all just movies. Movies, again, to sound like a real kind of dickhead. I've seen all the movies, basically, that they've talked about. I know about the majority of them on the Bravo one. But on the Channel 4 one, I'm constantly getting oh yeah, I forgot that this was in it. And okay, yeah, that's cool that they're talking about this kind of old relic of a movie. It just... I found it an overall creepiness came from that rather than listening to Eli Roth with the most 2000s haircut. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, and then he's talking about dating girls in New York.
They're all psychos,
yeah.
And then they did reshoots with Eli Roth, so it's he's got the most Bart Simpson 2000s kind of gelled up hair, and then they do reshoots where his hair is all flattened down again. So it's this kind of drastic change between the two.
Did they? I didn't notice that.
I wrote it down in my notes because I just thought it was way funnier than it actually is.
Yeah, no, I didn't notice that. What age is he there, do you know? He's very young.
I don't know, but must be in his late 40s now or something.
Yeah, maybe so.
He's always good to talk about horror movies, though. He has his own show for AMC about the history of horror, where he talks to celebrities about different genres of horror. I didn't care for it that much, but nonetheless, it's...
Did you watch any of it?
I watched the first season. I thought it was kind of boring, but again, that's because I'm, I guess, kind of selfish about it and want kind of deeper cut recommendations. And when they're talking about the same thing over and over again, you kind of get bored,
I get you, yeah. I'm going to give it a watch, though. I didn't know he had one of those things.
Two seasons are out now, I think, but it's good. It would be a good one to watch if people like the Channel 4 list and the Bravo list. that's a good one to check out, you know?
On the other hand, I actually really enjoyed the Bravo list because I have only watched it twice, and it had been a good couple of years since I've watched it. So I had watched the Channel 4's list a lot more times. So that kind of bored me a bit because I knew everything that was coming up. I remembered the advertisements. I remembered the soap operas that came up in it. And then when I watched this Bravo, it was kind of like watching it again for the first time. So I actually really enjoyed it because there's a good few movies on the list that I haven't seen before, like Blood and Black Lace. I haven't seen Poltergeist and Blood Simple. You mentioned that. I haven't seen any of them, and I actually wrote a list for myself to watch them now. So I found it quite good because it had been since I was like a young teenager when I did watch it. So I didn't get a chance to get through all the list, and now I actually have more movie recommendations after watching it. So I definitely enjoyed it.
I get that, but like, there's only, you know, obviously so many times you can once you've seen the movies, and I don't know. I guess the interviews are always still good when they're talking to the right people, but I feel like there was more people that kind of annoyed me in the Bravo one than the Channel 4 one.
That's very true. Yeah, there's some actors there that are just kind of like, why are you here?
They're very hyper. You know,
they're very hyper, actually. Yeah. Well, like, I guess not a lot of, but like, there's some American actors who are a bit over the top.
Yeah, I think it probably comes with the trade, you know what I mean? Some of the lists just pissed me off though. Like, it didn't, like, I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna have to fucking sit through this now, you know what I mean? Because it's like almost 4 hours long, and the way they did it, I didn't find out because whoever uploaded it, thank you very much. Really appreciate watching it. But Jesus Christ, there's so much shit on the screen because the channel that they recorded it from, not the person's fault who threw it up, you know, fair play to them, but the channel they ripped it from has shit dancing across the screen for like, you know, Orange County, you know, wives and all that kind of shit, like the Beverly Hills wives and all that, you know, all that shite. So that was like, but they had it aired as 6 different episodes over the course of like a month or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a really weird way of doing it. I thought they really would have split it up into two parts, just like they did for the Channel 4 one. But no, it was like a serial kind of thing, you know?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either.
Which I think would have been very annoying to watch it that way. I rather the idea of watching it just in 2 parts, you know, one night, one the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because imagine you were watching it 6 parts ahead, like it might be only like half an hour or something, and then
like, would people care? But like, I can't miss 60, you know what I mean, to 40, because that's when the real best movies are talked about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people would only watch the last 20 of it anyway, so I think it's kind of I think they should have split up into 2.
The first episode and the last episode, I could imagine people tuning in for. Well, this was kind of good. Yeah, I'll probably just watch the last one and see what the top 20 are, and that's it, you know?
I found it interesting that 28 Days Later was number 100.
That's what pissed me off. When I was kind of first like, okay, it's like 4 hours, almost 4 hours, I'll sit down, I'll watch it, and the first thing to come up was a 28 Days Later as 100. I was like, that's
for
bullshit.
Fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, that's bullshit. That movie is very scary. Like, that should have been much higher, you know? And it was much higher on the British one, obviously, because it's British loyalty to it, you know? But it was a bit, you know, it was nice to see people talking about it. I think Peter Jackson had a really cool line when he's talking about it. And Peter Jackson is like, when you look at it, because it's shot on digital and it's like real kind of handheld and gritty, he's like, when you watch it, you want to go out and make your own horror movie. Like, shoot your own horror movie because it looks so much fun.
28 Days Later, you're inspired to want to go out and actually make low-budget horror movies because it looks like fun and it is fun.
And it is fun. And I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of nice. You know what I mean? That's very endearing, you know?
Uplifting, yeah. It definitely is. It's motivational. He mentions that he said, like, it's on such a low budget. Yeah. So it just shows that you can do it with whatever. Yeah. So that was like, I always like hearing him talk as well. Yeah, they did have a good few directors that I actually really enjoyed that he was on it. Guillermo del Toro was on it. I really enjoyed everything he had to say. He was really like charismatic, and he made it real personal as well. When he talked, like he'd talk about his personal experiences going to the cinema and stuff, and he was like, and then I went again and again and again. Yeah. I liked him.
they did have some good, like they had George Romero and Stephen King, and some actors as well that I was happy to see come like talk about stuff like Ron Perlman and Rutger Hauer. So yeah, I think it did. And then I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Is it Orson something? I could be wrong, but he plays the Lust guy from Seven, the guy who has to wear the fucking big strap-on spear thing. But he's a fucking great. I
can't remember what his name. Yeah,
he's a great actor, and it was nice seeing him talk about stuff as well. For such a small role as well that he has in Seven, it was very cool to see him just on the list in general, you know. But then again, they have the Coors Light twins, so I'm sure they would have gotten anyone on the list.
They were just the eye candy. And they were a bit of, I think they just brought a bit of fun to her or something, you know. Kind of like, they're like Scary Movie 1 or 2, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like it's
what was not on the Channel 4 list that was on the Bravo list that kind of surprised you?
Any Italian horror movie that wasn't Suspiria, I really appreciated that they put it there, and it constantly surprised me. So I knew Zombie was there because it's like number 99 or something 98. Like that, or 98. So when I would ever start to watch it over the years, it would come up, so it's built into my brain. But they talk about the famous scene in it, the zombie fighting the shark and the piece of wood going into the woman's eye, and it's a Lucio Fulci movie, and I like his stuff, but that movie in particular I really, really like. But the list surprised me as it went on. Another one of his movies came up, The Beyond. It's the one with the little girl with the red hair gets her head blown off, which is fucking great. And I love they show it, yet they cut out everyone saying fuck or shit. But they show the little girl's head getting blown off in that movie. So that was really cool to see the Americans talk about that, or like an American list, I should say, talking about that movie. But then it went even further, and they do, I think it's Lamberto Bava's, but Demons, the movie set in the movie theater with all the demons. That movie, yeah. I fucking love that movie.
I've never seen that.
Like the three movies I just named there, me and my cousin, again, who did our intro music and everything, huge big fans of that. And the Demons in particular, it is the craziest fucking movie. You know, I don't even like it's one of those things where if I start explaining it, it's going to sound stupid, because it kind of is kind of stupid, like in regards to how it's set up. It's just people get walled into a cinema while there's an infectious kind of demon plague, and it ends with a guy on a motorbike with a samurai sword fighting the demons off, and it's just perfect, and everyone's dubbed in it, and it's very quotable.
It just looks manic, the scene that they played for Demons in the list. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Everybody get away! Get out! What are you waiting for? Run!
They interview somebody in it. They interview the woman in it who puts on the mask at the start. Pretty sure they interview because it's a prostitute that goes and puts the mask on, and she cuts herself and it gets infected. But they interviewed the actress who played her, which was also very cool to see. Definitely worth checking that movie. Sure. That's what I was kind of most surprised to see. What about you?
I guess I was most surprised to see Alice Sweet Alice and movies like that kind of Giallo style. I know it's not a Giallo film, but it's kind of that grittiness, like Don't Look Now. Don't Look Now was on the Channel 4 list though, but I was surprised that Alice Sweet Alice wasn't on the Channel 4 list. Blood and Black Lace was another one that I was surprised that was not on the Channel 4 list, especially because I felt like they would have been films that would have showed up on the Channel 4 list.
I'm not sure if Mario Bava, Lamberto Bava's father, I think, or grandfather, I think it's his father, but he made Blood and Black Lace, but I think his other movie, I don't know if it's Black Sabbath or Black Sunday, shows up on this list and the Channel 4 one, if I'm not mistaken. It's the one where the woman gets the mask full of nails put on her face.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that one as well, yeah.
So I do think that might show up on the Channel 4 one, but it was cool to see one of Mario Bava's movies show up on the Channel 4 one, because he is like a horror legend and everything. But no, Blood and Black Lace, for what it is, historically, I get why it's on the Bravo one. But also because I haven't seen that movie yet, it looks very cool. You know what I mean? He, like, in the shots that I saw of it, he's like burning somebody on a stove, and the killer looks great in it as well. You know what I mean? So it was cool to see.
Fashion models.
Yeah, it was cool to see that show up, and for them to kind of discuss as well Alice Sweet Alice as a Giallo movie and make those comparisons to Don't Look Now. It is very, like, it feels like an American movie, so I kind of understand why it's not on the Channel 4 one, but it was nice to see just more of these kind of Giallo movies, because I don't think Deep Red or Tenebrae, or however you say it, show up on the list. I think it's like Alice Sweet Alice, Blood and Black Lace, and Suspiria are the only Giallo movies on that list. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can't think... I wouldn't be as like educated on Giallo films as much as you would be. I think one of the critics talks about a Giallo film, and I think she was referring to Suspiria.
She also said, I don't remember the critic's name, the blonde woman. The blonde woman with the glasses, that's the only way I remember. She talks about Seven owing a lot of its imagery or its subject matter to
that was it.
Giallo, which is a very interesting point, which I don't know if I agree with, but I definitely think the strap-on spear thing in that movie feels like something from a Giallo movie. That feels like it was taken straight from the New York Ripper, the Lucio Fulci movie I've been talking to you about, except he'd probably want to shoot that scene rather than do it off screen like David Fincher did, which, no one wants to see that.
Yeah. Another film that came up was The Hitcher, that wasn't on the Channel 4's list. I saw that years ago. I saw it because of this list. It's very menacing.
I love that film.
Do you remember it? Oh, you've seen it as well.
I'm a big fan of it. I really, really like it.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's just the bit where the girl is tied to the back of the truck and she's tied to something else. I can't really remember what she's tied to.
It's the hall or the storage of the truck to the front of it. And he's going to pull her apart like they would do with horses back in the day, in like medieval times, whatever. So I thought that was... they remade it with Sean Bean, and they showed that it was replaced. It was a guy getting killed, and you got to see it, and it just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? You don't need to see it. It was
your
all built up. Your
imagination does enough. Yeah, it really does.
It's Jennifer Jason Leigh, and she's so small as well that like you can almost... It feels like they actually are like pulling her. Like when you see that scene, it looks like the rig they had her in doesn't look very comfortable, that kind of thing.
No,
so
that's what I was thinking when I was watching it there. I was like, it actually looks like it's probably hurting her.
Yeah.
In real life.
I thought, you didn't need all the gore then. You just, it was enough. They're kind of back and forth in the truck.
Pulled. Yeah.
And then it just cuts away because then it just cuts to see Thomas Howell screaming. No, that movie's really good. That's Pony Boy from The Outsiders. So it's great to see, Pony Boy in this situation. Is. Oh, it's like a famous like novel about greasers, and like it's on the Leaving Cert. Not the Leaving Cert, the Genius Cert. Paper. Yeah, like it's built in that you can pick one of these as your books to read.
Oh,
so right. I like it a lot. I thought it was a good book and a movie. So seeing Pony Boy versus Rutger Hauer with Jennifer Jason Leigh getting torn in half was very nice,
Yeah, fair. One on the list had you not seen and you want to see now?
Not much, to be honest with you. Like, most of the ones that I wanted to see, I tried to track down already, but like, I guess The Vanishing I've never seen, so I'd like to get around to watching that. And then...
Same. That's one that I have on my list now as well.
Pacific Heights.
That's one I wrote down too to watch, because it reminds me a little bit of Shallow Grave and Fatal Attraction, because I guess it was made around that time as well. So
that totally. So like, there's like a list of movies that you could compile, kind of like yuppie horror movies, where it's like that one, Pacific Heights, Fatal Attraction, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Another one that I haven't seen. I'm not that pushed in seeing it, but it's a single white female.
I was just going to say that single white female, yeah.
That's on the list as well. Is it good?
It's okay. I had watched a lot of it, and then they get a golden retriever puppy in it.
And they kill it.
And I know something weird happened, so I stopped watching it.
It's who is it? It's Bridget Fonda and then Jennifer Jason Leigh again, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But because it falls under those movies, like that list of kind of that type of movie, I'll probably watch it eventually. That's a good topic to talk about one day. Like, I don't know what you'd call it, yuppie horror movies.
Yeah, it is actually.
That thing,
I guess I had seen most of it, and I had seen it from that list, and that was another one that I was surprised wasn't on the Channel 4's list as well, because I think that is actually a very scary thing, because you can feel the kind of scariness when they're talking about it on, they're saying like, did you ever have like that friend that goes a little bit too over the top, being a little bit want to be like you?
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant Pacific Heights, and I was like, yeah, the fear of Michael Keaton just going full.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's one of those movies like Fatal Attraction, though, where it's like parodied to death. Probably doesn't hold as much of a weight to it as it did when it came out. For somebody like me to watch it just like randomly, that it might not hold up. But I'll wait and see. I haven't seen it yet. Fatal Attraction held up, so
Yeah, I loved Fatal Attraction. One of my favourite films. But yeah, I need to finish Single White Female, but I had watched most of it and I know what happened, so it was interesting.
She's single and white and is a female. So, just with movies that like you were trying to seek out to watch because of it. There was one that I did seek out back in the day when I saw this, and it was Wait Until Dark with Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin. Oh, that movie really does. They talk about it in... It's quite close to the top 20s, I think.
It is, yeah. I think it is... Yeah, it's 10. Number 10.
Yeah, it's worth it, to be honest with you. I kind of watched that. I was like, that looks cool. And I like Alan Arkin, but it lived up to it. Like, it really did. I would definitely recommend you watch that one. It's very...
Really?
They spoil something in it, like the big kind of jump scare. But, oh, man, it's just so clever.
I felt like they didn't give too much of that film away. I feel like they spoiled a lot of other films really badly in the Bravo list. But I feel like they didn't, because I've never seen that film. I forgot about that film, like, existed. And I only know that the robbers are trying to get a bag that they think she has heroin in.
Yeah, they have it hidden in a doll or something. And I can't remember what the context is, because it was years since I've seen it now, that she has the doll in her possession or whatever. But... they talk about it in the list, so it's not a spoiler, but there's this great moment at the end that in her apartment, she's trying to knock out all the lights because she's blind. Audrey Hepburn's blind when these three hitmen, basically, or criminals, show up looking for this doll, and the last act is her trying to knock out all the lights. So her and Alan Arkin are on an even playing field, that he won't be able to see anything. And obviously she would have the upper hand, though, because she's blind. She's quite used to not seeing anything. It's so clever. Really good movie.
Okay, I must watch that then. That's an interesting pick from the list. Yeah, so what were your thoughts on like the top 5 scariest movie moments?
Of this one, I thought they were a bit, again, just in comparison to the Channel 4 one, I think they were pretty much the same. They were a bit off though, so it's like...
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Psycho, Exorcist, Alien, and number 1, Jaws.
Yeah, okay. I have a few thoughts on that. You can get Psycho and you can knock it out of the top 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. No.
It's pretty much very close to the Channel 4 one, because it was, if I remember correctly, the Channel 4 one was, oh god, number 1 was Shining, number 2 was Exorcist, number 3 was Alien.
Yeah.
Number 4 could have been Jaws, or it could have been...
I don't think so. I think it might have been the Blair Witch Project or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was.
I can't remember. I think Jaws was like number 10 or 11 on the list.
I think it was in the top 10.
Or 7, actually. Sorry, yeah, I think it was number 7 in the list, something like that. I definitely wouldn't have seen that as number 1, but maybe for Americans, that's something, a fear that they might have had.
I was always told as a kid that we don't get sharks over here. Don't know how true that is, whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you really get a great white, though, in America that close to the beaches? No, you wouldn't. Well, actually, that could be very wrong. I'm not an expert in sharks. Yeah.
I mean, there has been a few shark attacks, but I've heard of a lot of them in like Hawaii and Australia and stuff.
Yeah. No, Jaws is a fantastic film, but the fear people have from it is a bit weird,
Yeah. But I remember when I saw it when I was younger, I had that fear. Like,
it's amazing. Like, it is scary,
it's the fear
but it's
of the unknown when you're swimming in the sea.
Yeah. No. It is it's a fantastic film, and it definitely, it's a classic, and I will watch it whenever it's on. But like, when people talk about being terrified of like sharks because of that movie, I'm a bit like, be afraid of a shark because it's a shark. Like, I don't think the shark is actually malicious like they make the shark in Jaws, where it's like, oh, he's killing
actually like a
people because
monster.
he's killing it
He
because he
wants to.
enjoys. It's like he's not fucking Patrick Bateman. You know what I mean? He's not a psychopath.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not Norman Bates.
Norman Bates, no, he's Norman Bates with a big set of teeth. Fucking change the Coronation Street quote.
I'm not gonna lie, I am still kind of scared. I swim in the sea, but it's still something that will come into my mind. Probably not from the film, probably just because you don't know what's under the water, you can't see.
If we're talking about the ocean being scary, I agree with you, but for many different reasons, because we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean. Not really.
Yeah.
It's,
no.
And there's lots of other scary parasites that, especially if you're a man. Something like that fish that swims up your pee hole, what's it called?
Oh God, what?
Kandiru or whatever. Yeah, there's a fish in certain places that, if you pee in the water, it can swim to your pee hole. I'm probably making a lot of people just shake their heads, because I'm getting a lot of facts wrong, but I'm almost sure there's a little fish that can swim up your pee hole.
I've no idea what you're talking about, but fair enough.
I'm almost positive. I think it's called like the Kandiru or something like that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So there you go.
I thought the top 5 was a bit... I've never seen Alien. I know that that's an absolute cardinal sin to have never seen Alien.
Nobody can see me, my mouth kind of went agape there.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have admitted that, but yeah, that's something I've been meaning to watch for years. I just have never gotten around to it. But so I can't, I'm sure it is. You can tell me, do you think it deserves to be number 2 on the list?
I think it deserves to be in the top 5, but I don't know if I would have said number 2, because I saw Aliens and stuff before that.
Oh, number 2, yeah.
Which is the much more action kind of based movie. So, and they're all creepy, but when they go to talk about Alien, it's one of those things that I don't have a necessarily a fearful kind of memory of it, because I'm thinking of more the action movies that came after. But I totally get it, and it's a really disturbing concept of the eggs going into Iran's chest and breaking out of John Hurt's chest and everything like that. But I think, to me, if we're talking about the list, The Exorcist should have been past that. I think The Exorcist probably should have been number 1 out of...
I always thought that ever since I was a kid, because The Exorcist was the one film that fucked me up when I was a child. That terrified me, especially because at the time, I'm from a Catholic family, so I was conditioned to believe in God and all that kind of stuff. And I just found that absolutely terrifying, that the devil was able to, possess this young child.
Something beyond comprehension is happening to a little girl on this street, in this house.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was so fucking scary.
The whole, Exorcist thing is very cool to hear people talk about, though. I always like hearing people talk about it because everyone has such a strong opinion on that movie, They
do, don't they? You hear a lot of the kind of, I think we talked about this in the 100 Greatest Scary Moments when we were discussing it, but you hear a lot about the weirdness things that went on set, the set going on fire.
And then just people's weird experiences.
The plane crash.
Oh, the plane getting struck by lightning was The Omen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But that's all cursed kind of. I don't know. I don't believe any of that.
Cursed film settings.
Bad luck. But I think Texas Chainsaw, actually, to change my answer, should have been number 1. That movie, even though again I didn't see it at a stage where I was necessarily really scared by it, but seeing the clips when I was younger, and I've said this before, that I would have an association with Texas Chainsaw Massacre that you would with The Exorcist. So I've talked about in the past how seeing that as a child, the just imagery from it deeply affected me. So I think that should have been number 1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
What I will say, they don't have The Shining in the top 5, which was surprising.
Yeah, it's number 6.
Yeah,
that's actually true, because that was number 1 in the Channel 4 list. It is interesting to see the differences in opinions, but I definitely get you about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was one of the scariest ones I saw when I was younger. I think just it's the grittiness and the realism. Even the commentators on the Bravo say that you kind of feel like you're watching found footage.
Yeah, a snuff movie, documentary kind of. I love how it looks.
Yeah.
I love how it looks.
It's really, really cool, isn't it? It's a movie that I always think, I'd love to have been on that set.
I would, from what it sounds like it was fucking nightmare to make, but they're
Probably,
making an
yeah.
American classic kind of film, or just a classic in general.
Anything we're doing isn't easy though, you know.
Yeah, like childbirth.
See, that was what I was going to say. A lot of people probably voted Alien is because a man giving birth is just apparently the craziest thing and scariest thing ever. So
yeah, that is
that's why
that is very
it's probably
funny.
number 2.
Like I remember, like in the English one, Mark Kermode is talking about it's a movie about rape. It's a movie about male rape, and it's the alien violates him, and I was just like, no. I get it. I get the symbolism of the tentacle going into the guy's mouth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And laying eggs in him. I got that, you know?
Well, and the tree in The Evil Dead rapes the girl, but nobody fucking said much about that.
That is true. Maybe they just want to downplay it. Wait, maybe they actually, you know what, they probably mentioned it in the Bravo
They did
one,
mention it.
because Eli Roth was there and he probably brought it up.
I
I'm
think
sure
it
he would
actually
have
was
loved
him.
to talk. Yeah, I'm sure he would have loved to talk about it. Was there any funny kind of moments that you found in the list? Because there was some stuff to me, because it's an old list, just didn't age well that made me kind of laugh. Some of the humor didn't age well in it from the comedians, obviously, but there's a comment in it that was so funny that Stan Winston made, who did all the special effects for Terminator and you know, everything like that. But he did the special effects in Jurassic Park, and they're talking about Jurassic Park, and he says, the dinosaurs that we made, like, you can just put in the clip, but like I'll try to quote it the best. He's just like, the dinosaurs that we made weren't made up dinosaurs. They were the real thing.
The studio did not design scary dinosaurs. We designed real dinosaurs.
And I was like, ooh, that did not age well, because they've now since proven that dinosaurs never looked like that. Dinosaurs had feathers and they all look very different, you know? So it's just like, what we made are real dinosaurs. It's like, no, you didn't. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess for them at the time,
yeah,
it was so realistic. And it was, in fairness, Jurassic Park is actually very fucking scary. Surprisingly, it's like in the top, like more near the hundreds. I think it is 95.
Yeah, I guess it's like a kid's horror movie though. It's like an adventure movie with horror elements, but
I guess, yeah. I found that very scary though.
It's like Jaws. It's like Jaws is more horror orientated, but it's very like it's got spooky moments in it, you know?
Another thing that I found quite funny was that they used some of the really old trailers. Like, for example, The Hills Have Eyes. That was a movie that came out in the 70s, and they show the actual trailers that came out in the cinemas and stuff. And they have that, like, in a land far away. Voice, that I love that voice. And why did they get rid of people doing the voices? It's fucking great.
They wanted to see something different, but something different saw them first. The Hills Have Eyes.
So hammy, but like it's something about it, especially with older movies that like The Hills Have Eyes, that are quite disturbing, that it was like kind of adds to the charm, you know what I mean? Like One American Family, you know what I mean? You know, a family that time forgot, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know.
And a nice suburban family.
Yeah. It's, thrown to the limit or something like that, you know, reach their limit, you know. I love all trailer voice stuff like that. You know,
Same.
I think it's great. I was actually really happy to
bring
see
it back.
Hills of Eyes come up, but then when they brought up Last House on the Left, I was very pleased. I fucking love that. And they interviewed David Hess, which was so cool.
Everybody wanted to make an anti-violent film. Well, how do you do that, given the subject matter, given the violence of the subject matter? You push the envelope.
I know. And he actually looks great. I didn't realize how old he was though.
I don't know what age he is there, but it was very cool to see him talking about I think he's talking about Blue Velvet at one point. Another one that came up on Channel 4.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, I like David Hess. I like David Hess in Last House on the Left. I think he's a very good bad guy, you know?
Yeah, and he's very charismatic as well in Last House on the Left. So there's something like kind of, how do you describe, like likable? Even though he's a horrible person, so don't get me wrong. That's like,
I don't know if I can agree with that.
I mean?
I think I can.
Really?
I'd say he's charismatic, but like my kind of thing from that, cause he did all the music and stuff on the on the movie as well, and it's really cool. But so it's like, because you can hear him sing throughout the movie, I guess it kind of adds to the kind of charisma, because he's the leader of the gang as well, kind of puts that spell over you. But to me, it's always like, man, he is playing a character in a movie that, like, it could be really difficult, but he seemed to enjoy playing the character, and it wasn't too, like, over the top for him. And it would be fun to play a character like that in a movie, to play a really kind of nasty bad guy, I feel.
It would, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think so. And I just found it really interesting. It was one quote that always stuck with me, even from when I watched the Bravo list when I was younger. But when Wes Craven is talking about Last House on the Left, he says the scene where they really butchered up one of the girls, I don't remember the names of the girls in it, they actually filmed it on like a morning, and that was the only scene they filmed that morning. Then they broke for lunch afterwards, and everyone just went off by themselves and didn't eat.
Filmed that, I remember, in one morning, and when it was all over, we broke for lunch. Everybody was covered with artificial blood, and I just remember everybody went off by themselves and nobody ate. Because
it's so fucking gory and it's rotten. Like, it is very, it is a bit of a snuff.
Yeah,
it's
no, the movie's
graphic.
pretty, that would be one that I would 100% want to talk about in the future, because it's really interesting. Just the background as well, that like a lot of the actors on it disowned it, and then porno, like it was originally meant to be a porno, and the other guy in it who plays the pedophile, I can't remember what his name is. He's the guy with the switchblade. He
I know.
Is a porn star, or he was a porn star, or was at least in a few porn movies, and
he actually seems like that now that I'm just thinking of it.
Why? Because the look of him.
The look of him in his grey suit. I don't know. He's a bit like snazzy going around.
He condemned the movie. He thought the movie was awful. He just thought it was really shocking. But he was quite a big part of the movie in regards to showing them how to do a lot of the stuff. It was like, oh, this is how you make fake contestants and stuff. You know. So he looks at it and regrets a lot of his involvement with it. But that movie's quite nasty though. Really disturbing.
It is nasty, but I wrote about it in my dissertation because I was like comparing classism from the 1970s and to now. Classism in horror films, because they're kind of like lower class and the girls are like from a upper middle class kind of family. So it's just interesting to I think that could be something we could talk about in another podcast.
We definitely should. But there was a few other ones that kind of showed up that I was happy to see. You know, I was taking notes, and it became basically me listing off movies that I'm just glad got a mention. You know, like Stepfather, really great movie.
That's one that it's on my list now to watch, because I haven't seen that either before.
Yeah, there's like I love Stepfather. There's one part of it that I remember watching when I was younger. Like, I don't know why I thought of it when I was younger, but even back then I had the same thought that like the movie's pretty tame in regards to like sex and nudity, because it's not that type of movie, until the main character, the daughter, at the end, towards the end of the movie, has a shower and they just show kind of like full frontal nudity of her, and I'm like, it's so like not related to the story.
Jesus Christ.
It was kind of just like, this is the most fucking gratuitous inclusion. You know what I mean? And I kind of was a bit like, oh, so that's the only part I think of that movie that I was a bit like, this is bullshit.
I get you. Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I'll let you know when I watch it.
Speaking of which, though, they have Reanimator on it, which I was really, really happy to see. But fucking hell, the editors of the oh my god, Reanimator, do you remember it in the list?
No, I don't.
It's a Stuart Gordon movie where it's like a goofy kind of horror movie with Jeffrey Combs in it, and it's the scene that they talk about is the girl naked strapped to the table, and the severed head being held up by its body is gonna go down on her and give her head, and everyone talks about how goofy the scene is, and it's a pretty disturbing scene, even though the movie is a straight up like horror comedy with lots of goofy moments. But for whatever reason, they have all the nudity blurred in the list, but for whatever reason they have the scene where the head's talking, and it's like the severed head is placed down into her crotch and she kind of screams and stuff. Then they cut it like that, and they cut to another bit of the countdown. I'm like, don't cut away, because you're not showing that never happens in the movie. It's about to happen, and then Jeffrey Combs walks in and he's like, oh, what am I interrupting? He comes in and kind of confronts the bad guy, and he distracts him, and he doesn't end up doing it. But by cutting it there on the list, it's like they went ahead with it, and it's just like, went ahead with it, for fuck's sake. Didn't even mean to pun.
pardon the pun.
But-
That's actually so true because I haven't seen that film, so I would have just assumed that she was abused. Then.
Yeah, it makes it 10 times worse. But no,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually happen. So
My love.
Okay.
it was a problem with the editing.
Oh, right. That's interesting. It wasn't kind of a film that made me want to watch it anyways.
Yeah, I don't think that it's like if you're not interested because of that scene, don't watch the rest of the movie, I think, you know? But I actually
Yeah.
think the movie's very good. It's very funny.
Yeah, the movie that came up on the list was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I just thought that was gas. Actually, another movie that didn't come up on this list that was on the Channel 4 list was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the Child Snatcher. That really freaks me out, honestly.
It was weird how it didn't show up because they did have The Wizard of Oz.
Exactly, yeah.
But no Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because he was worse.
He was much worse, I feel. I don't know, there's something about that scene that used to terrify me as a kid. And I was never afraid of getting kidnapped or anything like that, but it was just him as a witch and the way he danced around was just diabolical. Like, it's fucking terrifying. I'm also surprised it didn't show Snow White because I still think that's pretty scary.
Yeah, there was no animated
saying.
movies at all, I don't think.
No animated movies, yeah, which is a bit of a shame because I think Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, like the really originals, are quite eerie, very creepy. The music is so like, because it's recorded all orchestral. Is that the word?
Yeah.
In an orchestra, because it's so old, like it's done so proper. I don't know, there's something about how it is.
No, the scene they pick out for Snow White in the other list was scary. It was creepy. But I find that now thinking about it, the Bravo one doesn't really go far from the horror or thriller genre. So like even when they're picking old movies, they're horror classics, but they're not kind of more deeper cuts of more general kind of movies, such as like Willy Wonka being on the list and The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz was kind of expected, but I didn't expect Willy Wonka. But
me neither.
It's weird how they didn't talk about more scary scenes in children's films because there is a lot of them,
and there was a lot of them that came up in the Channel 4s.
A lot of TV shows that scared the British public. So
even there was that German one that came up on the Channel 4,
the Singing Ringing Tree.
The Singing Ringing Tree. Actually that would give you nightmares.
I would love to see a full version of that. I've never seen that, so I think
either.
My cousin as well said that he had a videotape of that. That would be an interesting viewing of that sometime.
Yeah,
to sit down. If we sat
a
down
good
and watched
idea.
that, like they did follow-up lists to this, which was quite cool. So they did 30 scarier movie moments and then 13 more scary moments, and they include lots of modern horror movies. It was like movies that had come out since then.
Okay.
And those lists, I have to give them credit, were very cool because they showed a lot of newer kind of stuff that I hadn't seen. Or stuff that like I was getting to see more clips of. So they have like Bug with Michael Shannon, which I really like. Some of the Hostels. And
Hostels are good. Yeah.
Some Korean movies as well. So they have like Old Boy. I think they have they have an Old Boy, the tongue bit, you know. The 13 scarier movie moments is up on YouTube. I don't think the 30 more scary moments is up. So there'll be like 7 parts, like 6 of them missing.
Yeah,
so whoever uploaded this one, upload the 31.
Yeah,
Go
please. On. Okay. In conclusion, overall, like I personally really enjoyed watching the list because I feel like it was brand new seeing again. Like I said before, it was it was like a refresher, and there's movies now that I have on my list that I really want to watch again.
Yeah, no, I guess, look, if you like the other one, definitely watch this. It's for free to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you like Channel 4 ones, give this one a go and you'll probably see something in it that you'll want to see. And it's, again, you got shit to do in your house, throw this thing on in the background. You know what I mean?
It's kind of, because you don't really eat, you do need to watch it, but you can just glance at it and then, listen to it.
Yeah,
it is kind of like a podcast in a way because you're listening to what people have to say. And if you've seen a lot of the movies, then if you just want to hear the trivia about it, then that's cool in that sense too.
Yeah, real light kind of watching. But any like horror list like that, if you're into them, there's a lot more out there, so check this one out.
Yeah,
check it out while it's on YouTube before it gets taken down. So
yeah, you're gonna think I'm disgusting, but I think I might watch it again this weekend because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, well, because it's only because it's like if this was a film, I'd be like, you know what, watch it as much as you want, but it's 3.5 hours long,
I know.
It's just too long.
It is too long, but fuck it, it's great.
Yeah.
To me, it is. I enjoy it. Thanks for listening. This is the 404 Films podcast. You can follow us on
at 404 Films on Instagram. And God, what else are we on? Are we on?
We're on
anything
Facebook,
else?
but we don't really use Facebook that much. So
I don't think I even follow the Facebook link, the Facebook page.
Yeah, maybe we should.
We'll start getting this up on other stuff eventually.
Yeah, we're gonna look into getting it on Spotify, so you don't have to just play a YouTube thing. So thanks for everyone who actually did listen to it on YouTube. We appreciate you because that's a fucking effort. And we will get on Spotify again.
You can follow me on Instagram at @carlcal_director. And you can follow Sive
at the Silver Screen.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right.
It can be its own horror film. Right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My God, them fingers can't get